Hola, buenos días.
Buenas tardes, buenas noches.
This is Barb.
And this is Stella.
And welcome to
Cafecito
and Crime. The fuck was that?
I don't know. It's spooky season. Did I look spooky?
No, you did not look spooky.
Okay, sorry. I'll try harder next time.
Yeah, no spookiness. So I hope everyone is doing great today. We are here serving you the
episode of the week.
So how's everything going for you? How you been?
Do you really want to know, or you just ask that to make conversation?
That was unnecessary.
No, I'm genuinely asking.
No, I really want to know.
Oh, I'm good. It feels like a Thursday. I was just telling you, it feels like Thursday energy today, but it's not Thursday.
It's not Thursday. No, it's not. It's Wednesday. And
how are you doing?
I'm doing okay. I'm just watching everything with the storm and that kind
of thing. With the hurricane. Yeah, it's crazy.
That is scary. That is so scary.
I know. Who I was telling, I'm like, it's crazy that people, or we're talking, this weekend I'm going to go do this and this and this. And there are people in Florida that are not going to have anything,
when they it come passes back to like a house.
Yeah. So you're just kind of, the difference in people's, situations. It's crazy. And
And the craziest thing is that they just had Helene. And then
I always get confused. How do you say that name?
And then a lot of the debris they still hadn't picked up.
Yeah, or they were barely still picking up.
So they were worried about that, like going back in the air and like doing damages, and I don't know. And I just hope that whoever decided to stay there okay, because it doesn't.
Que los cuide Dios,
because it does not look good out
But that's what they were saying. A lot of people say, people are telling us to evacuate, but we don't have we don't have money to. We don't have nowhere to go, or we don't have money to evacuate. Tampoco no te puedes ir así con sin nada,
Yeah.
You have to be prepared, pero it's just, I think it's supposed to hit tonight, right?
Yes, so it's getting closer tonight, but the thing is, like right now, the tornadoes are going crazy.
Yeah.
Like they had like 3 tornadoes touch down, and they were pretty big, and they even had like water spouts and all kinds of stuff. Like this thing is crazy.
And then it fucked up Mexico también, la península.
Yeah, it fucked up the Yucatan area and all
Merida,
of that. So Merida. But I just want to hope everybody is doing well. Hopefully we don't have to keep talking about hurricanes anymore. Like I feel
it's so, and at least for us, though, in the past, Houston, they always happen like in at the end in August or maybe early September, but never this late in the season.
No, but I mean,
at least for us, pero
yeah. So I mean, let's not jinx it. Pero we hope, but we hope that everybody's okay.
I hope that everybody remains okay.
Yeah, because that is crazy. And I was just asking my husband, because they only have like one way in and one way out. Like they don't so I'm like, do they not have, they might, and I'm just stupid, but they might have like a route. Cause I know here when we were leaving for Rita, was it Rita? No, it wasn't Rita. Ike. They closed the other side.
I don't remember.
Of the freeway.
I wasn't driving then.
Yeah, so
I was being driven.
Yeah, so I don't know if that will make a difference, but I hope that, I don't think it will, but I don't know. It was just so many people trying to get out, and there was no, and I was telling Alex, I'm like, why don't they make it a lot more like easier for people to get out? Like maybe put extra like gas in the gas stations or something. Like they keep saying evacuate, but then everybody's stuck on the freeway with no gas.
Yeah.
Or make it like an easier route for them to get out, or I don't know. I
don't know how that works, but you just see everything on social media, just the lines and lines of el tráfico parado, I think I saw somebody that said on Threads that it took him about 10 hours to get out. And usually where she was going, she said it's usually like a 6-hour drive. It took me 10 hours.
Yeah. So that's crazy. That is crazy. But hopefully everybody's safe. Other than that, work has been doing good. I am.
Your new job.
Yeah. I'm super excited to get working. Right now it's just, really
a lot of training.
Slow. It's a lot of training, and you have to learn how to do this and that.
But you've been going in, like they give you a little bit leeway to start your day later or get out earlier.
Yeah. So I've been kind of leaving at 9, like this whole week. I think tomorrow I go in at 8:30, that kind of thing. And so I try to work out but then I had a stomach ache, so then I stopped working out. So I don't know. I just haven't. My workout journey has been a little bit off. Yeah, Estella's workout journey. That girl's crazy. That's all she wants to do. So
no, it is not what I want to do, but I do it. But I don't want to do it.
But
I have to sleep when I do work out before work. When I get to work from home, I'll work out before work. So to make sure that I leave in the morning, I sleep in my sports bra and my shirt. And then I put my shoes out in my bottoms. And then my bottle of water is ready to go. My gym bag is ready. And then I just put on my bottoms y me largo. And that's what I do to make sure I'm at my workout class in the morning.
Yeah.
But if I don't do that, I won't do it.
Yeah, and I don't work out anywhere. I work out here, and I still don't come down here. I'm like, oh my God, it's just been harder for me. I've been kind of tired lately. I don't know what's going on, but I just think it's once again like the weather is changing, like everything, and then my kids always have
so hot in the day.
Yeah, my kids always have so much shit to do. Like, I'm like, why are we
fall
running?
break? I didn't know kids got fall break. I was like, why do kids get fall break? We didn't get shit when we were going to school. No. I was telling my sister, I'm like, I don't think your kids or the kids now will survive the school schedule that we had back in the day.
And then like where your sister lives, they don't even have a whole week of school.
Yeah.
They only have 4-day school weeks.
Yeah.
So for example, like they don't even go
on Fridays
already. And like, well, my kids go on Fridays, but
it's a different district.
So
yeah,
I don't know, but I'm off on Monday too. So my company actually gives us off the days that the kids are off. Yeah. So for Christmas, I get a whole 2 weeks off.
That's cool. I'm glad you found that job.
Me too. I'm happy. So today Estella's going to be bringing us, where are we going, Estella?
Okay, hold on. Let me pull up my Microsoft Word if it would open. Here it is. Okay.
I also found out my coworker's a Swiftie.
Oh,
yeah.
Cool.
She went to the Aries show too.
Oh, which show? There was 3.
She went to the one on, I think she went to the Saturday one.
Okay.
Because I think we went to the Friday one.
We did.
So then she was telling me that, she's like, do you like, she's like, I just have to ask, do you like Taylor Swift? I'm like, you have no idea.
Please.
And that's funny because you would see us, like, as much as you would see me, I don't look like I would be a Swiftie, but I'm a hardcore Swiftie.
Okay. So for today's case, we are going to Carlisle, Ohio.
Carlisle. I like that name. Carlisle.
I think so too.
That's a cool name.
That's Carlisle from Twilight.
Yeah, exactly. That's where I thought about it. But if you would like to come with us to Carlisle, Ohio, that's kind of hard to say. Carlisle, Ohio.
Carlisle, Ohio.
No.
Carlisle. Ohio.
That's a lot. But if you would like to come with us, go ahead and grab your cafecitos.
And let's get started.
Oh, God, not again.
Let's take a quick break. Persons of Interest is back, and it's bigger than ever.
That scream will echo in my head for many years.
Taser! He's gonna shoot!
Oi! Shot fired! Shot fired!
Stay out! You got a gun on you!
He had the perfect aim.
I am absolutely stressed at that point. I have no idea where my officers are.
Persons of Interest available everywhere you get your podcasts.
Now, the fun, random, interesting fact about Carlisle, I'm not going to say Ohio, I'm just going to say Carlisle, is that
that's hard.
John Herbert Dillinger, who was an American gangster who robbed banks and committed a string of other vicious crimes with his gang during the Great Depression.
Vicious.
Okay. He robbed his first bank in Carlisle.
Wow.
In 1933.
In 1933, and they were already robbing shit?
Yes, girl.
They didn't got anything better to do?
Girl, no. I mean, that was the time of Bonnie and Clyde, you know? Like,
during the Depression and all that shit. Okay.
So it was the new Carlisle National Bank where he stole $10,000.
Wow.
Which in today's time would be $242,000.
$200?
I don't think banks keep that type of money in the, in like...
$242,000? Mm-hmm. Oh, I thought you said $240. I got confused. Anyway.
Oh, maybe I said it wrong. Sorry.
No. It's okay.
So he robbed that type of money. And according to the FBI.gov, Dillinger terrorized the Midwest for about a good year from 1933 to 1934, and he was later killed by the FBI agents. Lo andaban buscando así, lo encontraron, and then he saw them y sacó su pistola, and then they saw him y sacaron sus pistolas, and then they shot him 5 times, and then se murió in July 22nd of 1934.
Danger. So he was out there.
I don't know. When I was reading up on him, he looked interesting. Like, I don't know if I want to like do a case about him.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He looked like an interesting kind of guy.
Yeah, like he was out here doing shit that he shouldn't have been doing.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh. But yeah, he robbed his first bank in Carlisle.
That's crazy. That is so crazy.
But now you know.
Now I know. Mm-hmm.
You can take that.
That's an interesting random fact.
Fun.
Interesting random fun.
So today's case, I want to see what you think about it and where you land as far as what took place. It's not that it's different, but obviously what happened was bad and it shouldn't have happened, but we'll get there. I don't know how to explain myself, but I guess as the case goes on or I keep on talking about it, va a salir. So we'll begin with Brooke Skylar Richardson. So they call her Skylar, so I'm just going to call her Skylar. That's her middle name. She was born in Carlisle, Ohio on March 9, 1999 to parents Kim and Scott Richardson. And 2.5 years later, nació su hermanito chiquito. And Skylar loved being a big sister. So she was described as an easy child. She was happy and bubbly, and she was very sensitive. She began doing gymnastics as a kid and also cheerleading. So both she and her brother were very athletic. He played football. They both did very well in school. And the Richardsons looked like the perfect little family in the small town of Carlisle.
As they always do, right?
Which was really, it was a small town. It had a population of about 5,000 people.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Small.
Now, Scott was an accountant and Kim was an HR manager. So they lived comfortably. They lived in a upscale subdivision called Eagle Ridge. So from the outside in, like I just said, I think it was easy to look at Skylar and assume that she had it all. But the people that knew her and were close to her knew that that wasn't the case. She was struggling and had been struggling with an eating disorder. She developed an eating disorder at a very young age. Kim would later say that she first noticed Skylar had a problem in the 6th grade.
Was she gordita or something?
No. She was a flyer in cheerleading. You know how I said that she was a flyer? Mm-hmm. So, andaban tirando in the air. Mm-hmm. She was, being lifted in the air and doing stunts. And for that, you need to be small. Mm-hmm. And Skylar already was, but it was, getting out of control. Mm-hmm. Kim says that she wouldn't buy gum because it had calories.
What? Oh my God.
And then Kim was like, I didn't even know gum had calories. Que tiene like 5 calories?
5, I think, a stick. And gum has, I didn't know this, but gum has carbohydrates as well.
Oh, I didn't know that. I don't look at the calories I can't chew gum anyway. So it's not
but what I'm saying is like, that is like,
for like a little girl to notice that.
Not only that, but that is like big. That's like big commitment because yo no puedo estar like, I'm not. Yo digo que no voy a comer algo y como quiera me lo como.
Yeah.
Like I'm not like I don't have that I'm not that strong like that. And for her being little, like at 6th grade, that's like 12. Younger than my daughter.
Yeah, she was like 11, 12. And
imagine my daughter not eating something.
Girl, all she does is eat.
That's all she does and all she thinks about. She'll eat and then ask me what we're eating later. I'm like, we just ate.
So according to Kim, that was when her weight issues began. Mm-hmm. So, to lose weight for the season, she would make herself throw up.
Okay.
And then not eat, Mm-hmm. When the cheerleading season was over, she would binge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sounds about right.
The eating disorder took over her life, according to her parents. It pretty much ruled at 95% of it.
Pobrecita. So young, dude.
Yeah, so tiny.
Y luego the thing is, it wasn't like anybody was, like maybe they were making fun of her in school or algo, no?
No, I mean, she was well liked and everything.
Mejor es nada más ella.
Yeah, it was just
the way she was.
I mean, it is a mental disorder.
Yeah, so, definitely.
Her parents obviously noticed, and when they tried to talk to her about it, she was always like, they just described her as very quiet, very reserved, and, she was friendly and bubbly and all this stuff, but she liked to keep a lot of things to herself, like se quedaba callada. And when they would try to bring this up, she would shut down and just didn't want to talk about it.
Well, especially whenever you have something que is uncomfortable that you know that you're not supposed to be doing, like you shut down. Like,
yeah.
Yo también, I would probably be like, no quiero hablar de eso. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
And her parents tried to get her help, the help that she needed. She saw doctors, she saw therapists, she saw a nutritionist, and was diagnosed with body dysmorphia. According to the Mayo Clinic, body dysmorphia disorder is a mental health condition in which you can't stop thinking about one or more perceived defects or flaws in your appearance. A flaw that appears minor or can't be seen. There's people who don't see it in you. You see it within yourself. And so she had this disorder. Her parents tried to get her help, but they said that the help didn't help, pretty much.
Nothing was getting through to her.
Yeah, she was very guarded. Look at this, Ian. So, again, Skylar continued her life. She continued to go to school. She continued cheerleading. And as far as appearances went, siempre andaba bien peinada. Her hair was blonde. Her hair was always done. For her 16th birthday, she got a car. She always got, she was a good student. So it's not like, she got a convertible, I think they say that she wanted. And
what did you say her parents did?
Her dad was an accountant.
Oh, an accountant.
And then her mom was an HR manager.
Oh, okay.
But
yeah, whenever you have a good kid, like you do whatever it takes to give them what they want. I know I don't have any money, but if my daughter is like, Mom, I want something and I know I can provide it, then I'll try my best.
Yeah. And it seemed that, the fact that they were just very well put together, or just, there were certain things that people in the community noticed that the Richardsons cared a lot about maintaining appearances.
Okay.
And that might have played a big part in today's case.
Yeah.
And what the case that we're discussing today. And you'll understand what I mean in a little bit también.
Okay.
So as far as get into it. So in July of 2016, so the summer before her senior year, Skylar began dating a friend's cousin. Now, I'm not sure how long the relationship lasted, but it didn't last very long. And by January of 2017, she was already dating a new boy.
Okay.
Yeah, completamente. Somebody new. His name was Brandon. And Brandon, I don't know if he was older. I don't know if he was the same age as her or what, but he was a junior. So he was in the grade below her. And it was funny because when you pull her up, if you want to pull her up, you'll see a picture of him and her. And he's so tall and she's so tiny que apenas le llega a los hombros.
Wow.
It's just a big, it looks funny. But according to family and friends, the two just clicked and got along very well. According to her parents, they were a very good match. And for the first time in a long time, she looked happy. Like, she really looked happy. And she even began to put on they called it healthy weight, compared to how she previously had been.
I wonder how much she weighed. Like, did they ever mention that at all? Like to give an idea of how thin she was?
Later, during her trial, her mom says that she weighs 90 pounds.
Oh, shit. At 4'11", you said she was? Or how tall was she?
No, I didn't her height. She was just tiny.
She was just tiny. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. She at least 5 feet.
Okay.
Yeah.
At 90 pounds? Oh, my God. Mm-hmm.
And things seemed to be going well. She was dating Brandon. She was halfway through her senior year. Mm-hmm. She was happy or whatever. And she was going to be soon graduating. And she even already had been accepted to the University of Cincinnati, where she planned to study psychology in the fall. But obviously before all of that, there were other important events that, were still to come for Skylar as a high school senior. And one of them was prom. Mm-hmm. So on February 15th of 2017, she went shopping for her prom dress and she found it. And again, you can pull up these pictures and we'll post them too. It was a tight red sequined
girl
mermaid dress.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mermaid.
I was like, girl.
Girl.
So that was in February.
It wasn't girl, it was girl.
It was girl.
Mm-hmm.
It's like girly.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. So she was feeling herself?
She was. In late March, the Richardsons, went on vacation. I don't know if they did this often. I'm assuming that they did. Somewhere on the beach. I think it was spring break. Quien sabe? I'm assuming here. She was wearing her little 2-piece bathing suit. It was yellow. She was just sitting in I think su mom le tomó una foto. She was sitting in a chair. And, she was here in her little bathing suit. Her hair was blonde. Her bathing suit was yellow. She looked happy or whatever. And at this time, obviously by this point, her and Brandon had been dating for like a little bit, right? And she was now 18. So Kim knew that it would be safer for Skylar. She had like an irregular period también. I don't know if it was because of her eating disorder, but she thought that it would be safer for Skylar to be on the pill. Mm-hmm. So in late April,
okay.
In late April, Kim took Skylar to her gynecologist. At this appointment, Kim waited outside because Skylar was already.
Yeah, you can't. I mean, you can go in there, but I mean, it's not. Like, they ask the patient, like, you'll be like, hey, do you want your mom here? And most of the time, they're like, no.
Get out.
Get out.
Quédate afuera.
No, not my daughter. She's going to be like, Mom, I'm so scared. Can you hold my hand? Girl. She's going to want an audience. She's going to want you there, everybody. The dog, the cat.
So, like I said, Kim estaba afuera. And when the appointment ended, Skylar salió, and Kim recalled that it looked like she had been crying. When she asked Skylar why, she said that it's something along the lines that it, I guess, had just been very overwhelming and kind of traumatic. And Kim said, well, they usually are that, especially your very first appointment. So she was like, okay, whatever. About a week and a half later, on May 5th, Skylar went to prom. Ya llegó la prom in the dress that she had picked out in February, just a couple of months prior. Later, it says... She'll say May 7th, but it's also referred to as either May 6th or May 7th. Mm-hmm. Skylar was in her house while the rest of her family slept. Skylar went to the bathroom and she delivered a baby.
What the fuck?
Wait a minute.
That came out of nowhere.
A daughter, we later find out that she named Annabelle.
Not Annabelle, like the doll.
We later learn that, according to Skylar, the baby was not breathing, and she was not alive. So recogió a la niña, put her in a towel, went downstairs, went outside, and buried her in the backyard.
But the baby wasn't breathing according to her.
According to her. The baby was not alive.
Okay. So she was a stillborn. Pero entonces that's probably why she was crying. They probably didn't give her the pill because she was pregnant.
Over 2 months go by. Mm-hmm. We'll get to your questions. Over 2 months go by. On July 14th, that summer, she had already graduated. She was already planning to go take her ass to college, I'm sure.
Okay.
Carlisle police go to the Richardson's home, where they tell Scott that they need to talk to Skylar about something that she may have witnessed. They tell him that she's not in any trouble. No se preocupe, señor. She's cool. We just need to talk to her about some stuff. So he and Kim take her to the police station.
Hell yeah. You better come and tell them what you know. Shit, I ain't playing.
So Skylar's taken into an interrogation room alone, where she ends up speaking with Lieutenant John Fain.
Not Lieutenant Dan.
We're just talking about
Lieutenant Dan.
Lieutenant Dan. So he was with the Warren Sheriff's County's office. He read her rights and then told her that he wanted to speak with her regarding a phone call they received from an OB/GYN's office with the allegation that a patient of theirs had delivered a baby at home and buried it in the backyard.
Holy shit, how did they find out?
So we're going to back up a little bit, right?
Yeah.
To when Skylar went to her first gyno appointment back in April to get on birth control. During that appointment, Skylar was told by a doctor that she was 8 months pregnant.
Holy shit.
And she asked him not to tell anyone. I mean, he wouldn't be able to anyway.
No, it's under HIPAA law.
Yeah.
But I think that's why I'm telling you, because they probably, because when you're going to get on birth control, you have to take a pregnancy test. Yeah. Otherwise, they won't put you on anything.
On the pill.
Yeah. That's crazy.
So she went to another appointment 2 days before the police knocked on her door. So on July 12th.
Okay.
That time around, she didn't see the doctor that she saw in her first appointment that told her that she was pregnant. She saw a different doctor. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, her name was, I don't know if it was I think it was a she, Dr. Boyce. So she saw Dr. Boyce, and then the first doctor that saw her first appointment, and along with a medical assistant, pulled Dr. Boyce to the side and informed her about Skylar's initial appointment, that she was pregnant, and asked her to find out where was the baby, like what happened to the baby, right? So Dr. Boyce le preguntó a Skylar about the baby y empezó a llorar ella. y le dijo que she had gone into labor and had delivered the baby and that it was a stillborn.
Dude, this is blowing my mind because sale mucho eso de que las muchachas tienen los babies en los baños y que luego los tiran. My deal is, I've had a child.
You've had two.
I have two. Yo sé lo que duele. Like,
you're like, I got epidural, bitch.
Yeah. How in the fuck are you going to tell me you're going to just stand there and just push out a child? Así nada más como si nada.
At 18. Barely.
Dude, that's mind-boggling to me. Because, like, the trauma of having children, it's like a lot of people, that's why they don't have but one. Because they're like, no, it's too traumatic. I can't. ¿Te imaginas nada más estar ahí parada el baby lo tienes? Like, I don't know if si se le sale. Like, I don't know. Like, I need answers. Like, it's like, what the fuck?
She also told the doctor that she buried the baby in the backyard and that she never told anyone about her pregnancy.
Mm-hmm.
So after she left, Dr. Boyce and the first doctor that was at her first appointment discussed how to proceed, which is when they decided to contact the police.
Yeah, you have to. If it's something that is like life and death or something.
Or somebody's in danger,
mm-hmm.
Yeah. The first doctor that saw her first appointment called the chief of police in Middletown, because I think that's where the clinic was at, but didn't get an answer and left a message. So Dr. Boyce didn't even wait to get a call back from that message. She just called the Carlisle Police Department and she made a report. So Lieutenant Fain, we're back to her being in the interrogating room and asked her what happened. And Skylar said that in the early hours of May 7th, she gave birth to a stillborn baby in her home bathroom. She said that she couldn't sleep well, that she couldn't sleep that night because she was in pain.
I'm telling you, like, this is like, I know that whoever is listening, our listeners que
have birthed a child,
que saben lo que se siente, like, that is not something that you're just chilling at home y me levanté y tenía ganas de cagar y cagas. Like, that doesn't work that way.
I don't know if you remember. I always think about, like, it made me think it's not. Like, it's funny but this case is not funny, obviously. But I remember in an episode of My Wife and Kids, I don't know if it's Katie was asking about how she was born or something.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
And then, like, they do, like, a flashback, kind of. And then supposedly that Jay just sneezes y le sale el baby. And then Michael just catches it. She's just like, achoo, y vuela el baby. It's a big baby. He just catches it. And I know that, I don't know where that came from.
No, but it's okay. No, but seriously, like, I cannot wrap that around my mind to be able to be like, oh, me levanté. Like, maybe there's ladies out there. I don't know. Don't get me wrong. I don't know everybody. But maybe there's somebody out there that is like, no, I just went in and I just had the baby. No me dolió nada y I'm good. But from what I've seen and what I know. Experience, you birth a whole child out of a hole that's really small. So it's like...
I mean, remember that show, I Didn't Know I Was Pregnant?
Yes. But
and I used to have a coworker that said that she didn't know she was pregnant and she went to the bathroom to use the bathroom and had the baby.
Yeah. And it's like crazy to me. That right there is I don't know. Yeah. And I get that. There's a lot of people can see there's pregnancies that are like that. Pero like...
No, wait. Hold up. Just wait. So... She said she had pain and, like, they asked her, how was this pain? And she was like cramps. She was like, my lower back hurt. Or she was having contractions, right?
Yes.
And through all of that, cuando empezó a hablar, she was crying and she was speaking like a very, like a childlike voice. She said that the baby just kind of came out and that she was holding her to see if she had a heartbeat and she didn't. She didn't. And she didn't. So.
No, because she didn't.
She didn't. She was like, I didn't kill her. She was like, I didn't kill her. I wouldn't do that.
Oh.
She said.
Pero nadie le preguntó. Okay.
So when Lieutenant Fain asked her what she did when she realized that the baby wasn't going to make it, she says, I had to bury her. So in the middle of the night, after she had birthed this baby.
A whole human being.
Child.
A human being.
She grabbed the baby in a towel, went to the garage, grabbed a small garden tool. So I guess like a small shovel. Went to the backyard and dug a shallow grave. So you can see in the surveillance, and in this interrogation, there's two, and they're played during her trial. So he asked her, how deep was the grave? And she was like hand motions. She was like, was it like this? Was it like this? Or was it like this? And she said not too deep. She's like, I didn't have the strength to fucking, escarbar una.
She just birthed a child.
Yeah.
Of course she didn't have the strength.
She said, she's like, I just did it to like, que se pudiera tapar la baby, I guess, con dirt.
That is so sad.
So when Lieutenant Fain asked her what she did next, she's like, I went upstairs to clean up the bathroom. And I guess she cleaned herself up. You know, it was like bloody towels. And I think she disposed of them in like other trash cans, not like her own trash cans. And then to dormir, I guess.
So she just went to rest. Okay.
Now, he asked her if she ever looked up. Obviously, she was far along in her pregnancy that she couldn't, you know, have like a regular abortion, right? So she said that they asked her if there was any way that she ever looked up on her phone or any, you know, search engines how to cause like a natural abortion. And he tells her like
they might have had some information because that's not like a question you just asked somebody.
He reiterates to her that if she did that she needed to tell them the truth because they were going to perform a forensic analysis on her phone and they were going to find out. So he was just like, mejor dinos, because regardless, we're going to find out anyway.
Nothing leaves the cloud. Everything is always in the cloud.
So
in the clouds.
In the clouds. Nervously, she said that she did, but she said that she looked it up. She's like, I looked it up, but I never actually did anything. Like I didn't take anything. I didn't, you know, do anything to myself to cause like a natural abortion. So during the interrogation, there was a woman detective there as well. She didn't really talk much. I don't think she didn't really ask any questions. I think she might have been there to make her feel better. I don't know her name or anything like that, but so Lieutenant Fain se fue del cuarto and Skylar, again, she was like crying and just very like shaky. And then she asked the woman, she was like, are my parents still going to love me? And after this, la señora le dice, she's crying. She's like, I didn't kill my baby. She's like, I didn't kill my baby. And then she was grabbing like the lady's hands, like, she's like, are my parents still, you know, la señora la estaba consolando, pues, but I'm sure she knows what she's doing, you know, la detective lady. So Lieutenant Fain.
Not that they don't care, but, you know.
They need to do their job.
They need to do their job, yeah.
So Lieutenant Fain went to speak to her parents and told them why Skylar was there.
Yeah.
Scott and Kim are then led into the room. And immediately she starts like saying, I'm sorry, está llorando. And then they hug her and, you know, saying, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. And Scott le dice, he was like, you should have told us. She's like, you should have been upfront about things and we would have figured it out. He tells Skylar to, and it's kind of like, so dad becomes like a second interrogator. He was like, I need you to tell me exactly how things happened. And they go over it like 3-4 times to make sure, because she does start saying también that she ended up getting birth control pills from the doctor's office and she started taking it the next day after her first appointment.
There's no way they would have given her any.
That's why her dad's like, are you sure? Are you sure? I'm like, bitch. In my head, I'm like, are you sure they didn't fucking prescribe you fucking prenatal? So she thought it was birth control?
Maybe. You never know. Pero I don't think that they would have given her birth control because they knew that she was pregnant.
Exactly. So that's why her dad's like, wait, are you sure?
Unless she got it from somewhere else.
Yeah, and that's like one thing I wasn't really able to fully follow through when I was like watching the interrogation, because her dad was like, wait, like 4 times. He's like, wait, you're telling me that you took birth control. They prescribed you birth control. And he was explaining to her they wouldn't do that because you can't do that when you're pregnant, right? So.
Y luego también, you know, a lot of the times, I don't know if anybody here has heard of that, pero there's like some places you can go online and they can give you any kind of medication now. Like you just go online and you fill out a survey. You're like, oh, I need anxiety medicine, y te la dan. So maybe that's where I don't know.
But back then, I don't think it.
I don't know. I'm just saying. I mean.
So Scott is like the one that's telling her, you know, hey, you know, trying to making conversation. And Kim, on the other hand, she doesn't say much and she's mostly quiet. And there is a point in the video where she says, we had the perfect life.
What? What is she talking about?
And Lise, you're going to be on the news, le dice. I think one of her neighbors, she was like, they're already calling me, telling us that they're digging up our backyard. Like, they're going to know already what happened.
¿Y qué importa?
So look at dice Kim. She doesn't say much, but she does say those sort of things. And Skylar's like, Skylar's like, mommy. She's like, mommy, I'm sorry, mommy. And she's like, please grab my hands. Y Kim como que, she's like, okay, like.
Ya que pinches.
Yeah. And then she's like, do you guys still love me? Like, And Scott's like, yeah, you're a daughter, you know, but you've put us in a really tough spot.
Yeah, that's weird. Why is she acting like that?
And Scott's like, so you told the detectives everything, and she's like, and you didn't lie. She's like, no. She's like, yeah, I talked to them. She's like, I don't have anything to hide. I didn't kill the baby. That's what she said. They do ask her who's the baby's father, and she tells them that it was that cousin's friend that she dated the summer before her senior year. So before she started dating Brandon.
So she was dating Brandon. She was pregnant the whole time. Oh, wow.
Yeah. So ella no sabía because she didn't find out until April.
So she really did not know she was pregnant until she was 8 months pregnant.
Until she went to her first appointment.
Wow.
Yeah. I'll show you some photos también because remember, she still bought her prom dress in February. She was pregnant then. Wore it in May when she was 9 months pregnant, and it still fit her.
But you did say she was kind of gaining a little bit of weight. Pero estaba como repuesta, you know?
Yeah, because she had an eating disorder.
So, okay. I mean, that happens. Like I said,
yeah, I mean, it's not it happens.
It's not unheard of.
Right.
Okay, the kid, especially her being so athletic, and you know, she was doing a lot of cheerleading and that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
y se cuidaba tanto que a lo mejor.
Güey, no tragaba.
Pues sí, por eso te digo. O sea, and so then maybe that.
Yeah,
can happen.
I mean, you can medically speaking, you can see how it could happen.
Pero de allí a llevársela donde she.
What she did afterwards, yeah. So while they were at the police station, a search warrant was executed to search the Richardson's backyard. Where the baby's remains were recovered and were sent to the Warrens County Coroner's Office. After 5 hours at the police station, Skylar and her parents...
So they right away found the baby?
Yeah.
I'm guessing. Okay.
Yeah. They were allowed to go home. Now, 6 days later, on July 20th, Lieutenant Fain called Skylar. So 6 days later, after the first interrogation... Yeah. He asked her to go to the station again. This time, Lieutenant Fain was accompanied by Detective Brandy Carter. So during this interrogation, I wish I could have played you guys. If you guys would go and see it, I feel like you could get a better feel for this interrogation because the interrogations do play, I feel like I've been saying interrogations a lot, do play a big part in the case, in my opinion, and why the verdict that took place is one of the reasons why the verdict came out what it was because of these. So Lieutenant Fain tells Skylar that they have new information from the coroner's office, and that information lets them know that she hadn't been truthful and that more happened that night that she had the baby as she hadn't been telling them. So they tell her that they want to give her the chance to tell them exactly what happened. And this is when Detective Brandy Carter tells her that it's okay, you know, and grabs her hands, and, you know, she tells her, you know, we just want to put her to rest. You know, you're not the only 18-year-old that has been in this situation. Whoever, you know, you don't matter, we don't matter, your parents don't matter. Whoever, the only person that matters right now it's the baby, right? And, you know, we want to be able to put her to rest and give her a proper burial. And for that to happen, you need to tell us everything, you know? And she's trying to make her feel comfortable enough to tell them what actually happened, right? Like you can kind of see that in the video. So Skylar starts crying and she just says, I didn't kill her. And she told them that, she does say that the cord was cuando salió, because they ask her, obviously, so tell us what happened again, blah, blah, blah. So dice que cuando salió, the cord was wrapped around the baby's neck.
Well, that happens often.
Yeah. And Detective Carter, and she's like, what did you do? Did you try to get it off of her? And Skylar said, yeah, a little. So then Carter said, is it possible that maybe she breathed a little bit before? And Skylar said, well, maybe. And after more questions, they ask her and she answers. Skylar told them that she was on the toilet and the baby fell into it. And that maybe the baby hit her head. She tried to catch her, but couldn't. Then they asked her if she remembered how long the baby was in the toilet. And she said that she didn't remember. She didn't remember seeing any bubbles in the water in case she did, you know, was breathing, because they asked her. She also tells them that
well, yeah, but, you know, babies are in water, so she would have been fine.
She also tells them that the placenta didn't come out and fell like on top of her. because they were asking her all these questions and these were just her answers. And
that's weird because usually they have to take out the placenta. That's what I'm telling you. This is weird.
And that it was after, que la placenta le salió after she had gotten off the toilet. So not like back to back, you know? She then says that she grabbed the baby out of the toilet, put her in a towel, and that she held her to her chest, and she does this, and that maybe she did it too tight. When she was asked if it looked like, again, if the baby was breathing when she was holding her, and Skylar said no. So, or like, she's being asked all these questions, and she's like this, like agarrándose la frente, and she's just kind of like staring it down. And Detective Carter's like grabbing her hands, and está llorando, right, and all these things. So when Skylar said that she was holding her too tight, Detective Carter asked her, so you think that's when the baby stopped breathing or died? Because she was holding her too tight? And Skylar said that she didn't know. For a lot, she said, maybe, I don't know, decía.
No, y luego también, like, it was a baby crying?
I mean, bitch, you're in shock, right? I don't know. But these are all just, again,
you see what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
Like, I understand where...
They ask her about that too right now.
Oh, okay.
So they go back and forth. Again, they make sure to ask her again, like, hey, are you sure the baby didn't cry? Hey, are you sure the baby wasn't breathing? Hey, are you sure the baby didn't move or something like that? So again, they go back and forth with this.
I would be like...
asking her what she did after she held her, right? And then Detective Carter, after that, didn't even let her answer because she would take long to answer. She would stay quiet for a while. So Detective Carter just said, tell us about the fire.
Fire?
Skylar said, like that, what fire? You know, acá hablando quedito, like saying, I don't know. For that, she's like, what fire? This is when they tell her that there's evidence that shows that there was burning on the baby.
What?
Dr. Elizabeth Murray, a forensic anthropologist who analyzed the remains that were found, reported that there was evidence that the baby's bones may have been burned and that it was in her lower body area.
What the fuck? Did she try to burn the baby?
Skylar vehemently denies it and says that she did not burn her and repeats it multiple times. She said that it was the one thing that she was like, I may not remember a lot of things. She's like, but I'm sure.
Eso no se acuerda. Pero sí se acuerda que
no
la
quemó.
Okay,
que no la quemó.
Pero
that's what she's saying.
No.
And she's like, I did not burn the baby. She says that I didn't burn anything around the baby because they asked her maybe something that you place her like in the fire pit or something. She's like, no. She's like, I didn't do anything with fire. I didn't burn the baby. Detective Carter then says, I wonder if maybe it was one of those things where you just thought, well, maybe I can do this because it's like a cremation and I'll get to have some of her ashes that I'll be able to keep with me. And then you realize that it wasn't a good idea because you're a good person. I think that's what happened. That's what Detective Carter told her.
Why are they putting, like, I know what they're doing, you know, I know that but I hate that shit, man. Why do they put like words in people's mouths? And it's like, I don't know. At that moment, she's freaking out, you know, as a 18-year-old, imagine, you know, que you just had a baby, I mean, I think of, you know, our oldest niece, she's about to be 18. Yeah. And I could never picture her in this fucking situation. Nah, that girl, she crazy. She'll probably have the baby with damn eyelashes on. But what I'm saying is like...
Y uñas.
Pero what I'm saying is, I just don't imagine the fact. You imagine how scared she would be. You know, imagine like being in the police department.
And a lot of people do say... And I think obviously, don't bury your baby, right? Tell somebody. There's always help. You can always, you know.
Oh, nothing is always as bad as you think it is.
Right.
I promise you.
Right.
I promise.
Also, that's the thing. A lot of people say she should have never been allowed to talk to a detective without a lawyer.
Well, yeah, pero she doesn't know.
But they knocked on her door, her parents, and told her, we need to talk to her about something that she made a witness. Even then.
Yeah.
Should have been like, no. She needs a lawyer.
Yeah.
For what?
Well,
right?
yeah, pero como quiera. I mean, her parents were probably like, we don't know what it is about.
What the fuck should she have done, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, but just listen.
I mean,
always get a lawyer.
Well, my deal is that's what I'm trying to say. Like,
invoke your Fifth Amendment.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to say is this. It's like, okay, I understand where you're coming from, pero we need to be human too. Like, she's an 18-year-old girl that just buried her baby, that she doesn't, I mean, that sounds horrible, I know, but I'm just saying, and then now they're feeding her all this shit, and she's like, you know, I don't know.
So again, they sort of repeat the same thing multiple times, essentially saying, we want to do right, you know, what's right by Annabelle and put her to rest properly, but we can't do that until you tell us the truth.
Don't say Annabelle, because that just reminds me
of the
Annabelle,
doll, of the baby. You know, medically, we know what happened. We've been in contact with the doctors, but we need to know the events that took place while you know, things were happening. Again, they tell her a lot, you know, we'll give her back to you after you tell us what happened. Like that sort of thing. They do. They tell her.
But if she buried her, why would you think she wants her back?
But to give her properly laid her to rest.
I was about to say,
no
why
way.
would she want her back? Like she's the one that put her there. What the fuck?
So they're like, just walk us through everything as if we were there. If you need to close your eyes, close your eyes. And then suddenly Skylar is like, she changes her story.
What?
She's like, she just says, she's like, oh, I had a lighter. And she says, you know. She says, they asked her what type of lighter was it that she had. And they're like, was it a camping lighter? Was it a cigarette lighter? And it seemed, I couldn't really hear the audio cuando hablaba. They asked her if it was one of the clicker ones that you kind of keep in your house.
Like the ones that start, like your...
Las velas.
Pues,
and then she was just like, yeah. So Carter then asked her, so where did you take her to try to cremate her? And I think she says she doesn't know or she doesn't remember or something along those lines, because Carter tells her to try to remember. And Skylar just says she was just in there. Like, I guess we're in the spot in the hole where she buried.
So le iba a quemar.
Carter then tells her, hey, you know, it is what it is. You can change it, but moving forward, you know, we can make things right, you know, along those lines. But we know your intention was to try to cremate her. You weren't trying to do it maliciously. You just wanted to keep a part of her with you, right? You were trying to cremate her.
Fuck that.
So they asked her, what part of her did you try to light up? And Skylar just says, I guess I just tried, and she made like a hand gesture. She was like, con la mano aquí, like this. And then she was like, Carter asked her, she started from the bottom up. And then Skylar said, yeah, I guess the bottom.
So she burned her patitas.
She denied having any type of accelerator because they asked her, did you use anything else to, you know, turn on the flames?
What the fuck was going on in this girl's mind?
To help the fire get started. Mm-hmm. And she said she didn't. No. Again. They, you know how she wrapped the baby first when she was leaving the house, and then, you know, placed her in the grave. In the grave.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. She said that she didn't bury the baby with the towel. It was just a baby that was placed in the grave. They asked her how big the fire was, big or small, tall or short, how far up the baby's body it went. And she said that she doesn't know. And she seems like, you kind of just see her like, I guess like spaced out or trying to like rack her brain for an answer.
Yeah. Or manic.
I'm not sure if she does give them an answer. Again, I could barely sometimes hear what she was saying. And then they asked her if the baby was moving at any point, you know, after she had her. And if there was any noise that she made. And she said no. They asked her how she turned off the flames after she, you know, stopped it because she knew she was doing something wrong.
Because the baby wasn't burning?
She said that she just used dirt to turn off the flames. And she was making hand gestures. They asked her about the placenta and what she did with it, if she buried it with the baby. Again, she didn't really say anything, just kind of looking down. And so they asked her, since she didn't answer that question, they asked her if she cut the cord. And to this, she clearly says the cord came out. She was like, I didn't cut anything. But she said she couldn't say if it was attached to the placenta or not. They go back and forth and asked her if she remembers at what time the baby stopped breathing, if it was while she was in the toilet or in the backyard. She said that she didn't think the baby was breathing when she came out of her. So cuando the baby fell into the toilet. Essentially, they tell her, you know, we have proof that she was born alive. And we're sure you didn't do it on purpose, you know, but just kind of like with the fire at first, you didn't really remember, but then you remembered. And it was because you were in shock, but it's kind of like that now. So did she make any sounds, maybe like a little gurgle or something? And, you know, you said you felt guilty.
Or cry?
Yeah. You say you feel guilty that you might have accidentally killed her when you were holding her or squeezing her so hard. And you only would have felt guilty about that because you have had some sort of feeling that she was born alive. They tell her again, we don't think you killed her on purpose, but you had signs or you saw signs that she was alive a little bit at first. Skylar said, well, I think she might have made a noise.
Oh, okay.
Maybe a little noise, a gurgle. Carter said, so when she was in the toilet? And Skylar said, yeah, well, she was in the toilet.
So underwater.
And it was one gurgle. She said it was just one and didn't hear it again. She was asked what else made her think the baby was alive. And Lieutenant Fain said, when they come out, their arms are just kind of like this. Mm-hmm. And he made like head movements. And Skylar to that said that she might have seen the baby move. But she said, I didn't, when the baby came out, she's like, I didn't look right away. She's like, I looked away. And then Lieutenant Fain again said, so when you did finally look, did you see an arm move or maybe both arms? And much like the whole interrogation, she wasn't answering their questions right away, especially these. And so Fain said, it's okay. We just want to be able to tell the doctor all the signs you saw that the baby was alive, even if it was just a little bit. So Skylar said, I saw her arm move just a little bit and that she thinks it was when she was in the toilet. Fain asked her, what about her legs? because if the baby fell up like this, her legs would have been like, yeah. And then Skylar said that if she saw the legs move, maybe. So the whole interrogation lasted about an hour. And at the end of it, they had enough to arrest Skylar on a charge of reckless homicide. But she did post bond and, was released. So 2 weeks later, the case was presented to a grand jury and Skylar was indicted with additional charges on August 4th. So the charges were aggravated murder, which in Ohio, it carried a mandatory life sentence.
Oh, shit.
The other charges were involuntary manslaughter, child endangerment, and abuse of a corpse. So she was arrested again.
Yeah.
The Warren County prosecutor, David Fornshell, I think that's how you say his last name. So he gave this press conference and it became so sensationalized. He stated that Skylar's motive was that the baby wasn't going to fit into her life, so she had to get rid of it. He called Skylar a self-entitled teenager who was, quote, more worried about vanity than keeping the life of a baby alive, end quote.
Wow.
Essentially, it all stemmed from the Richardsons being obsessed with external appearances, that they were obsessed with them and that nothing was going to ruin it. So they made it seem, they presented that her parents knew.
Yeah.
Now, during her arraignment, Judge Donald Oda II did not believe that she posed an imminent threat to society and imposed what was reported as, quote, a relatively low bond for the stiff charges that could mean life in prison, end quote. Skylar pleaded not guilty, and the Richardsons turned over their passports. Skylar's $50,000 bond was posted, and she was ordered to house arrest with an ankle monitor to wait for her trial to begin. So after Fornshell gave this press conference, Skylar's case became nationwide, like all over the country, all over the news, all over the tabloids where headlines were calling her a baby killer and that sort of thing. The story got so big that Judge Oda II imposed a gag order, which meant that both sides were barred from discussing the case in public. So the goal, obviously, for the gag order was to be able to find an impartial jury for the trial, but it seemed that at that point, that damage had been done.
Yeah, it was too late.
The Richardsons became public enemy number one. It seemed like they were stalked and harassed. People would wait outside their house and
People take it too far, dude.
And they would watch them wait, and then they would take shifts.
Why? Pa que no se vayan, o qué chingados? Like, what the fuck? People, go do something. Please go do something.
It got so bad, obviously, that they couldn't leave their house. Social media was also a nightmare. They were getting death threats. They were even protesters that stood outside the Warren County's courthouse, for, protesting for justice for baby Carlisle, baby Annabelle.
I mean, todavía un protester I can see. You're outside of
the courthouse
right? Okay.
County's office.
I mean, I'm all for the freedom of speech, pero like stalking these people's houses, like you need to stop
and taking shifts.
Yeah,
for
like
what?
why? you need to let the authorities handle this kind of business. You are not
I wonder if they thought that she was going to run, flee.
They probably did. But I'm like, dude, it's
they would be out there with signs y toda la cosa.
No, yo te entiendo. Once again, I get this,
the sentiment.
Get the sentiment and why they're doing it.
Yeah,
and why,
they want justice for the baby. Yeah, of course.
Pero bro, I have to go to work tomorrow. I have no, I'm not.
I need to pay my bills.
Yeah, I need to go to work. My kids need to go to school. We have shit to do.
Yeah.
I don't have time to go be standing outside of somebody's apartment or house with, you're a baby killer and telling them that they're going to die.
Si sentaban, they would take the games, the chairs you can take to games or whatever. You just fold up chairs and stuff.
What is the reason for that?
I don't know, brother. I've never done that. So I don't think I will either. I will
go snatch you so fucking quick. What the fuck is wrong with you? De las greñas. Porque that is not okay.
Now, Skylar defense attorneys were a father-son duo, Charlie H. and Charlie M. Rickers. And according to them, the prosecution's case against Skylar was built on a false confession. And I know you're probably thinking, oh, but what about, the forensic evidence that the baby's body was burned, right? So while everyone was preparing for trial, Dr. Elizabeth Murray, the forensic anthropologist who had reported that the baby's remains had been burned, retracted her original statement after taking another look at the bones. She said that they showed no signs of incineration and/or burning.
What the fuck?
But even though many doctors agreed with that assessment, that the baby's remains hadn't been burned, the prosecution was not going to correct the record since Skylar had confessed to the burning in the interrogation.
Wow.
So they were still going to approach the case with that.
That is so, I don't know how that works. I don't know how Ohio does their stuff, and I respect Ohio, but I'm like, that makes no sense.
As a date for the case neared, the defense filed a motion to move the case to a different county, hoping, to up the chances of an impartial jury, but it was denied. In July 2019, just about 2 months away from the trial starting, the state offered up a plea deal to Skylar. They would take aggravated murder off the table if she pleaded guilty to the rest of the charges. Obviously, it was a big decision to consider for Skylar, who was now 20. But in the end, she refused to take the deal because she said she wasn't going to plead guilty to something that she didn't do. So during the time waiting for the trial, it's when they reported that, Skylar was still battling her eating disorder. And it was when she was, according to her mom, 90 pounds.
Yeah.
The trial began on September 3rd of 2019, and the assistant prosecutor's opening statement was a quote from a text that Skylar had sent to her mom just hours after giving birth. It said, quote, "I'm literally speechless with how happy I am. My belly is back, oh my God, and I am never, ever, ever letting it get like this again," end quote.
Wow.
And this was just hours of her giving birth. Again, the state was aiming to prove to the jury beyond a reasonable doubt that Skylar's baby was born alive and that she killed her because it was going to ruin her perfect life. Again, she was about to head to college and, puro pinche party, I guess. I don't know. Among?
Wow, not the
I felt like I had been doing so well.
I don't know.
Among many texts that were read out loud, such as the one I just read, there was also a picture that Skylar had taken that afternoon at the gym. That same day after she had given birth.
Okay, so she went to the gym the day that she gave birth.
Yeah.
En la tarde.
Yeah. And
I guess 18-year-olds' bodies are totally different.
And, of course, that was also showed to the jury. And in another text, it said, quote, "I am so excited now just for dinner to wear something cute." Another message that was presented in court was one that she sent to her mom on the days leading up to prom. Remember, she still hadn't given birth. It was just leading up to prom. It said, quote, "I'm just in freak out mode. I want to look amazing again more than anything. I hate being like this so much." Also, the text that she sent to her after she gave birth were like, "Yay."
Yay?
Yay.
Wow. But her parents said they didn't hear anything of her.
Right. Because even when her dad was talking to her, they were like, did your brother help you? Like, we didn't hear anything. She was like, no, it was by myself. Maybe the dad didn't
know. Maybe the mom knew. I mean,
I don't know. They've denied it, both of them. Everybody has denied not knowing anything. A lot of people were saying, when I was reading through threads and stuff about the case, they were saying, well, maybe as far as, I want to look amazing again, it might have referenced her, she had an eating disorder. Maybe she just wanted to be healthy again and have some healthy weight. That's what kind of where they were inferring. Yeah. Maybe she might have meant, So the prosecution admitted that they couldn't prove that the baby was born alive. But they added that Skylar had admitted during the interrogation, which was played for the jury, like I mentioned, it was going to be. They also stated that Skylar never planned to keep her baby. Like they knew that she wasn't going to keep it. So the defense rebutted this. Yeah,
because she never went to the doctor or took any prenatals or, anything.
She was 8 months.
Like, what the fuck? ¿Ya pa' qué?
The defense rebutted this point by stating that Skylar told the police what they wanted to hear.
Yeah.
That they were able to break her down and get out of her what they wanted, such as admitting to burning the baby, when it was later determined by experts that have not been the case.
It's because it didn't make sense that she burned the baby. Let's be honest.
But I understand what if a anthropologist is telling you, hey, I examined the remains, there was some charring.
Yeah.
You're going to take that and run with it, I'm sure.
Yeah, but there was just
they to me, they put words in her mouth. That's why she confessed to,
I believe that. And I feel like she was scared.
No, I get it. Like she should have told somebody as soon as she found out.
Yeah.
She fucked up.
Yeah, she fucked up and she should have. And was the baby born alive? I don't know. I wasn't there. But if the baby was, maybe I just didn't know what to do with her and she died. Like, I don't know. But the thing
we don't know. That's the thing.
From the toilet to where she buried her, the baby was not alive anymore.
That's what she said.
Yeah. No, she said that when she fell out of her body, the baby was not alive. Pero she, the thing is, my thing and my explanation to myself is like, okay, something happened in between that and there, to where she either like la aplastó, like le pegó, something happened, right? Pero that doesn't mean that you're going to say, okay, the baby, so you saw the baby moving they could have been her body just reacting to being out. Like it could have been anything.
But they were trying to get her to
admit
to it, in my opinion.
Yeah, I feel the same way.
So on day 3 of the trial, I believe it only lasted about a week or two, if I'm not mistaken, the state called Susan Brown to the stand, and she was the assistant Warren County's coroner who also performed the autopsy on the baby's remains. She testified that based on her opinion, the baby's death was a homicidal violence ideology, which is a crime, which is the definition of it is, which is a crime where a person is violently killed for uncertain reasons. So she's basically saying that the baby was killed, but they just don't know exactly how. That's what happened in her opinion, right? But when she was cross-examined by the defense, she stated that there was no physical evidence that Skylar killed the baby or that the baby was even born alive.
Okay.
So she said, quote, based on just the autopsy examination alone, I cannot determine if it was a live birth, end quote.
I wonder if that's a thing. Can they find out if a baby comes out alive?
Maybe if it happens in the hospital. I don't know if it can happen. But that's the thing. They didn't find the baby's remains until 2 months later.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Maybe the baby had already decomp had already,
Yeah. And then Ohio.
And it was summer.
But what I'm saying is, yes, I get that. But what I'm asking you is, like, is that a thing? Like, let's say that things.
I think they can.
Like, it's an autopsy, right? Like, wouldn't you be able.
But you know how there's a lot of cases where, remains are found and they cannot determine the cause of death because so much time has gone by. Maybe that's the case here too, So other expert witnesses called on by the state also stated as well that there was no physical evidence of a live birth, trauma, or burning on the baby's bones. So the only evidence they really had against Skylar was her confession saying that she did those things. So the defense called to the stand obstetrician John White, and he testified that he believed the birth was of a stillborn. Skylar told investigators that she was like, I never cut an umbilical cord. She was saying it just came out, which according to Dr. White meant that the cord may have had detached before or during the birth. He also stated that the way Skylar described the baby was of significance. She said that the baby was almost white, and not about like the goopy shit that comes out when you birth a child, but in his experience, when he's seen babies that come out, when obviously he's delivered babies, and he says in his experience, when a healthy baby is born, they are almost purple.
Yes.
Regarding her eating disorder and how that may have affected the baby, he said that her disorder may have restricted the baby's development, which increased the risk of neonatal death. During her pregnancy, Skylar only gained 15 pounds.
Well, you're supposed to gain 30, so...
Is 30 the minimum?
No, 30 is a maximum. Sometimes it just depends. I mean, there's a lot of people that don't gain a lot. People gain 10, 15, but they're healthy. They're eating their vitamins and they're walking or whatever. But 30 is like what you're like. But like, for example, with my daughter, I gained like 100. And with my son, I gained like not even 20.
And he was bigger than she was.
My stomach was huge. Like he was 10 pounds. So, I mean, he was a huge ass. He had the biggest head I've ever seen in my whole life. So, besides my sisters and, but anyway, so then that's what I'm saying. Like 15 pounds is, I mean, it's not unheard of, but they want you to gain a little bit more. Yeah. I mean, some people that are sick during their pregnancy, pero she probably wasn't eating.
Yeah, and
she probably no le estaba dando nutrients al
baby.
A la baby.
Pues si no sabía, güey.
Sí sabía, güey.
Ella, no, up until she found out that she went to her gyno appointment.
Yeah, pero I'm just saying, like, you imagine, like, being...
and by then, she was already 8 months pregnant.
Yeah, you
That's
imagine,
what I'm saying?
like,
the whole time.
The whole time?
Well, I don't know. Yeah, especially because if she was in cheerleading season.
Girl?
The defense called to the stand an expert in police interviews who spoke on the tactics of investigators that can result in false confessions, which is what they believed happened in Skylar's interrogation, which resulted in a false confession, according to them,
Yeah.
A psychologist named Dr. Stuart Bassman, sorry, sir, who spent hours interviewing Skylar, added to the expert testimony how certain people are more susceptible to these type of tactics.
Not Dr. Bassman going to years of college and you can't even say his name right.
Sorry, Dr. Stuart Bassman. He stated that in his opinion, Skylar suffered from a mental disorder that predisposed her to comply with people in authority. He added that based on the interrogation, he noticed intimidation and attempts to convince Skylar of something that didn't happen. So she, in her vulnerable state, created a memory that incriminated her.
It could happen, dude.
Bitch, that shit happens to me all the time. I was like, wait, did I dream this? And then I make it. I'm like, no, bitch, you lived this. This happened.
Not you lived this.
And I tell myself, I'm like,
wow.
No, wait, you lived through it.
No, wait. Pero like, that's some crazy shit right there. Because you imagine already she was, first of all, let's see it in the bigger picture. She was already, with the whole, like mental
body dysmorphia.
Not the body, Bacardi. Body dysmorphia. And then on top of that, being scared shitless that she's having a baby. And then on top, like, I just feel like it was a lot for her. Like, and then she's 18. Like, we're not.
And maybe she did think, what the fuck? What am I going to do with this baby?
Yeah. Cause she's like, I can't remember. Yeah, of course you don't remember. You fucking had a child.
But are you in shock or do you not want to remember? Both?
Both? Yeah. A little bit of both.
I don't know. I've never had a baby.
No, but I mean, I've had a baby and I remember every fucking
But when
second.
you're like in shock or you go through something traumatic, like your brain blocks it out, to protect itself. So
definitely.
Skylar never took the stand. And a week later, the prosecution and defense made their final appeals to the jury. Assistant prosecutor Julie Kraft stated that Skylar's child, Annabelle, was unwanted. Again, reinstated that the baby wasn't going to fit into her perfect life, so she had to do away with it. The jury of 7 women and 5 men reached a verdict 4 hours later on September 12, 2019. Skylar was found not guilty of aggravated murder, not guilty of involuntary manslaughter, and not guilty of child endangerment. But she was convicted of gross abuse of a corpse for burying the baby, which carried up to a year in prison.
I think that they should have given her for child endangerment because she should have, as soon as she found out she was pregnant, she should have
I agree.
I feel like she should have gotten that one at least.
Yeah.
I mean,
2 out of 2.
2 out of 2.
2 out of 4.
Yeah. The other ones, I mean, I could understand, why. I mean,
aggravated murder. I mean, we'll talk right now in a little bit. Judge Oda II ordered that Skylar wait in jail until her sentencing, which was just the next day. During the sentencing, she did say words, like she did actually speak, and she just said, crying, I'm so sorry. I know I hurt a lot of people with what I did, and that she just forever going to be sorry, and that she understood whatever sentence, what happened and whatever sentence is imposed. Judge Oda II sentenced her to 3 years probation, but he gave her some harsh words, which I you can look it up again, and I agree with it. But essentially, he told her that he believed in his heart that if she would have made a different choice when she found out that she was pregnant, the first appointment, Annabelle would be alive today.
Mm-hmm. She didn't. I don't think Annabelle had to die.
Yeah.
Annabelle, but not only that, but I mean, maybe she was too far off already at 8 months and not really feeding the baby and not really eating anything. Like if she would go off on like no eating tangents and then working out and throwing up
yeah.
and all that. So maybe she was throwing up because she was nauseous from the baby. I don't know.
That same month, it is reported that she entered an eating disorder treatment program. So Skylar was released from probation after only 14 months.
Mm-hmm. For good behavior.
Yeah. In August of 2022, her team filed a motion to seal her conviction, and it was granted by the same judge, Judge Oda II. He said, quote, "I find that she has been rehabilitated to the satisfaction of the court."
Okay.
End quote. And just back to when during the investigation, and when the investigation was completed, Annabelle's remains were handed over to the Richardsons, and they were able to give her a proper burial. It was a private ceremony. So that's the case of Brooke Skylar Richardson.
Wow. That's crazy. I mean, that is so scary at the same time.
She is at fault.
Yes.
She is.
I think so.
And
too.
I kind of wish she kind of maybe would have served jail time, at least a year. As soon as she found out she was pregnant, she should have said something. And none of this would have happened.
And not only that, but let's say that you didn't want the baby, or you didn't,
you were about to have the baby.
You have the baby and you put it up for adoption. There's so many options out there. There's so many people out there that cannot have children and that they're wanting a baby. But if you would have said something, you would have gotten some help.
No, you know how they tell you that safe haven law?
Yeah, you can drop it off at the hospital.
Not the gas station, the fire station.
You can drop it off at the hospital, the church, a fire station, whatever, wherever.
And you can walk away.
No questions asked.
No repercussions.
Don't put them in the trash can. Don't bury them. I mean, maybe the baby was not even alive. You're right. But they would have never even gotten to that point if she would have just opened her mouth.
Yeah.
Or even just been like, hey.
But why did she feel like she couldn't say anything, right?
That I understand. Because,
she's a kid, I guess.
She's a kid. And not only that, but, as a parent, I mean, I don't know how my reaction would be initially. But once again, we go back to the same thing. Nothing is ever going to be as bad as you think it's going to be. Like, you need to remember how many kids out here
It's not the end of the world.
It's not. How many kids out here are taking their lives for things that happen at school or things like that. Like, you need to talk to your kids and find out what's going on, because I'm not saying that I'm a perfect mom, because I'm not. But I'm nosy.
That your daughter
I'm nosy as hell. But my son wouldn't. My son would not.
Yeah.
So it's like I have one that talks too much, and then I have one that doesn't, Yeah. So one that wants to hide everything because he's scared of me.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm like, okay, I understand as a mom.
Even though you tell him it's okay, just tell me.
Yeah. And I'm like, don't lie to me. You can tell me. But he doesn't. And my daughter, she overshares. Shit that I don't want to hear. Like, Mom, today I got it. And I'm like, oh, Lord. But, it's... There was a story about this lady, separate story about this lady that her 12-year-old killed herself. She killed herself because she was being bullied at school.
I mean, sadly, it happens.
So I saw the story. I cried like a baby when I saw her, because they were taking the little girl's body out of the to put her in I guess the casket, they had her or whatever. And the mom made it a statement, and her statement was in it. I don't know why that just resonated with me. Please Find out what they're doing. Listen to them. Be nosy. They don't care that you are. So like in this situation, if maybe her parents didn't want to know. We're like, okay, ni modo, I don't want to hear it. You know, you never know. But if they would have known, then they would have given her the advice of, bro, you need help. Or there's been a lot of times where babies, you know, make it or you never know.
Yeah.
You just never know. That is so, so extremely sad and unnecessary, basically.
Yeah.
Unnecessary. But if you would like to, excuse me. If you would like to follow us on Instagram, we're almost at 200 followers. Thank you very much for everyone that has been following. And we really appreciate any of the newcomers. We're really happy to have you. Welcome to the Fam Bam. So if you would like to, please, you can follow us at
Cafecito and Crime Pod. And if you would like to download our episodes, rate us, leave us a review. We would greatly appreciate it.
Thank you so much for everyone that listened. And we will talk to you in the next one. Bye.